Let's get started on our backs today, folks. Find a comfortable position. Feel free to use a pillow if you need. Hands can be anywhere that feels comfortable. And we'll start with a body scan. Begin at your feet. And you're just using the body scan to check in. Notice if there's any tension or just notice what sensations are coming up as you draw your awareness to your feet, to your legs, your hips, your torso, your arms, your neck, and your head. And then begin to bring your awareness to your breath. If it's comfortable, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze and begin to breathe in and out through your nose. As you exhale, let your body be heavy into the floor. And as you inhale, let the front of your body be light. Exhale, soften into the floor and let the earth support you. Inhale, fill your body with air. Invite the breath in. No need to force anything. Take this time you've put aside for yourself and focus on connecting with your body and really exploring what's happening as you move and as you stay still. Inhale and exhale. And our breathwork pattern today is a long exhale breath. If that doesn't work for you, do whatever breath feels comfortable for you. For your long exhale breath, the exhale is going to be longer than the inhale. A good pattern to start with is inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 6. I will count us through 10 rounds, but feel free to do your own thing or change the pattern if the exhale feels too long or the inhale feels too long. So as long as the exhale is a little bit longer than the inhale, you're good to go. Again, you're keeping that feeling of heaviness, breathing in and out through the nose. And then we'll begin with an inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll do 5 more rounds. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more, last one. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Allow your breath to go back to whatever your natural breath pattern is. And then let's start with a little core warm up. Most of our class will be focused on the shoulders and exercises with the weights and the resistance band for the shoulders, but it's nice to move a little bit in the bottom of the body as well. Hands could be on the floor or hands could be on your lower ribs and your lower belly. Your feet are going to be flat on the floor. As you exhale, begin to bring your pubic bone towards your belly button and just rock your back, your lower back to the floor nice and heavy. And then inhale, create a little space at your lower back. Exhale, a little tuck of the pelvis, keeping it small and focusing on moving with the breath. Inhale, gently let the lower back float up, get light. 2 more like that. Exhale, tilting the pelvis towards the floor with the breath. And inhale, create space at the lower back as it floats up. Last one, last pelvic tilt. Exhale, lower the back down, let it get heavy. And then inhale, allow the lower back to float up. Keeping your feet where they are. As you exhale, get really heavy in that left foot and left hip and allow the right leg to roll out to the side. So you're rolling to the outer edge of your right foot. Single leg butterfly, that wing is opening out to the side. And then same thing on the other side. So you'll exhale, get heavy in the right leg and the right hip. And then the left knee will go out to the side, not all the way to your end range, only as far as you can keep the hips and the pelvis super stable. Inhale to bring it back, floating your butterfly wing back in. Exhale out to the side. Inhale back. Go as slowly as you can so you can really feel whether or not there's movement through the pelvis. Can you keep the hip muscles, the leg muscles from tensing up? They'll be working, so they'll be contracting and lengthening, but we're trying to make sure that there's not any other tension coming up. Is there any neck or jaw or shoulder tension while you're doing this? Just check in, see if you can release as you exhale. Exhale out to the side. Inhale, float that knee back. Exhale out to the left. Inhale, float that knee back. We'll go straight into knee folds. Exhale, left foot stays heavy. Back of the pelvis stays heavy. Right knee lifts up to tabletop. You can lower that leg down as you inhale. Get heavy as you exhale on the right foot, and then inhale or exhale to lift that leg back up. Find the breath pattern that works for you, that keeps things moving and soft. If you want to go a little more challenging, you could hold the leg at the top for a breath. And then lower it back down. Again, moving as slowly as you can so you have a chance to pay attention to what else is going on. Continue alternating legs. If you'd like to add on a little more challenge from there, you could float the right leg up to tabletop position and then bring the left leg up to tabletop position. Again, your pelvis is going to stay still as a stone. And then as the right leg comes down, the pelvis again stays still. And then the left leg comes down as well. And then you're going to start with the left, lifting the left up to tabletop. Pause here, exhale, stay heavy in the pelvis and float that leg up to tabletop. Inhale here, exhale, lower down. And same thing on the other side. Let's do one more breath, lifting up to tabletop. And then the other, lifting up to tabletop. And then down, starting with that right, and then with the left. And then the same thing with the left, floating up, initiating with the left, and then exhale, gathering, hugging the muscles in to float the other one up. And then as you come down, again, there's a gathering in, a gentle gathering in, and then the right leg comes down as well. Bring your feet as wide as your mat, and let's do a little twist. So get really light in that right hip, and then get heavy in the left to tilt the knees over to the left. And then you'll come back, and the left hip will lift to tilt the legs over to the right. You're trying to control the movement from the center. The weight of the legs could move the pelvis, but you're thinking, exhale, let the right hip float while the left one gets heavy, and then back through center. Moving always at your own pace. I might be going faster or slower than you. Just do what feels right for your body. Let's do one more over to the left. And then back to the right, checking in with the arms and shoulders every so often to see if they're trying to get in the game here. They can stay pretty relaxed. And then come on back to center. From here, grab your resistance band. Bring your resistance band around the bottoms of your feet and cross the band over just so they're nice and gathered in together. And you want a heavy resistance band so that you can really support your legs. From here, we're going to inhale and lower the legs towards the floor, reaching them towards the end of the mat, and then lift them up. You want a little bit of softness in the knees. Inhale away. Exhale back. Your goal here is to feel what's happening in your back. It's not so important what's going on with the legs, except for at the knees. But as the legs move, what's happening in the rest of the body? Right? What's happening in the hips? Are they moving around a lot? Can you use the breath? And maybe you exhale. Get heavy in the back, heavy in the pelvis, and allow the legs to move away. And then inhale to come back. And you might be able to go lower. That's fine, but only as far as you can go without the back arching or lots of wiggling around in the hips. One more. Lower the legs away. And then lift up. Good. You can uncross the resistance band and take your feet out, bringing them to the floor. Legs go anywhere that feels comfortable for your back. Pick up the resistance band and hold the band in each hand. Hands will be a little bit wider than the shoulders, and you pull the band gently apart. So there's a bit of work happening in the shoulders. And then I'd like you to feel the backs of your shoulders really heavy on the mat. Your back is going to be heavy into the mat, and then reach your knuckles towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder blades separate a little bit on your back, and then let the arms sink into the floor to push the shoulder blades a little bit more into the mat. Try that a couple times and notice what you feel. And although your shoulders might be able to go really far up and down, keep the range nice and small. Just checking in with your arms in this position and with your shoulder blades moving. Again, like what happens in the neck? What happens in the core? What happens in the top of the shoulders? The shoulders are being supported by the earth. So there shouldn't be, too much tension there, right? If there is, you're just going to pause and see if you can release the tension. You could lower your arms a little bit towards the floor, away from your shoulders, and see if that changes anything. All right, exhale. Get heavy in the back of the body. Start by keeping the shoulder blades still, but moving the arms. So as you exhale, begin to lower your arms towards the floor. Because the arms are below the level of the shoulders blades can stay still. It's only when the hands go above the shoulders or the arms go above the shoulders, that the line of the shoulders, that the shoulder blades will move. Focus on keeping the shoulder blades still. You may feel a little bit of movement back there. Muscles will be, working, but it should be fairly quiet at the back of your shoulders. Exhale to lower, inhale to lift. Lower your arms towards your thighs. You're going as low as you can without letting the shoulders round or the shoulder blades wiggle around on the floor. So the floor is your friend. The floor is your feedback for your shoulders here. One more. What sensations do you feel as you move the arms? Still with that little bit of pull on the band. Good. This time we're going to go out to the side a little bit. So again, the shoulder blades should stay still, but you're going to pull the band apart just a little bit more, maybe feeling some things in the shoulder blades, and then let the hands come together. It's not a huge movement. I'll do a little demo there. A huge movement of the arms. It's more about feeling deep into the shoulder joint and experiencing that movement or lack thereof in the joint. Last two, pull apart just a little bit and then let it come together. Stay heavy in the back of the shoulders. We're trying to keep the arm bones, those upper arm bones, into the shoulder joint and just let the body feel what that position is like for it. All right, the shoulder blades are going to move this time because as you exhale, arms will go overhead. Still a little bit of pulling apart on the resistance band. You're only going as far as you can keep your back connected to the mat, and then inhale to float the arms up. Notice if the arms want to move at the same pace or not. And let's do 3 more like that. Reaching over. And then back up. And 2. Notice at what point your back wants to arch or at what point your neck wants to turn on and get in the game. It doesn't need to. Keep your gaze up towards the ceiling, even if your eyes want to follow your resistance band. Good. And then from here, you're going to keep your hands reaching towards the ceiling. Again, a little bit of pull on the band. Bend your elbows now, keeping your upper arms fairly vertical. And then you're going to lift up. Bend the elbows and up. And so again, the backs of the shoulders should stay pretty quiet. If it's easier, you could have your hands a little farther away. And you're just working on keeping that little bit of work happening in the arms as you move so that you can really find the connection of stability in the joint with movement, right? Dynamic stability. All right. Let's release the band off to the side. After you've placed your band off to the side, pick up your weights. 1, 2, or 3 pounds are great for this. We're not trying to work into the big muscles and get them to turn on. We're trying to target those little muscles around the joint, and they're going to respond to some slow, gentle movement with a lighter weight. If you don't want to use weights, totally fine. Come on down to your back. We're going to do the same movements we did with the band, but now with the weights. Arms are reaching up towards the ceiling. Options here. to just do one arm at a time, right? If you find your shoulders get triggered by both arms being up, then you can do one arm at a time and really have some nice focus. If you can, you're gonna do two. If you want a little more challenge, you could always bring the legs up to tabletop, or one leg up to tabletop, or the other leg up to tabletop, or extend out, right? But only when you get to a certain point that you can still focus on the shoulders while the stuff in the lower body is going on. Choose your own adventure. Start with reaching the weights up towards the ceiling and then letting the weights push the arms into the shoulder joints. Two more like that. Your shoulder blades slide apart as you lift the arms just a little bit, and then they sink back as the arms sink back into the joint. One more. And slide. Good. And then you could always like wiggle your shoulders around a little just so you get the feeling of what it feels like when they move. And now they're going to stay still. Begin to lower your hands towards your hips and then lift up. Now the weights are obviously more load than the resistance band. So another place that you could start could be just bringing the hands down towards the floor and then reaching them up, right? So you're going more up and down, straight up and down. It's going to be a little easier than hands coming towards your hips. So you could start there if you prefer. We're going to do 3 more here. If you're feeling comfortable, you could go faster and do more repetitions, right? The weight is pretty light as long as you've got that great alignment and heaviness in the back of the shoulder. So now with more weight, there's more chance farther away from you, there's more chance that the shoulders are going to round and lift off the floor. So you are going to keep that breath, that exhale, helping to stay heavy in the back of the shoulders. And it may feel surprisingly hard because we're focusing on those little muscles that tend to get underworked because the big muscles take over. And then next time the arms are up, you're going to hold them there. We'll go out to the side. Exhale, stay heavy in the back of the shoulders as the arms go out, only as far as you can without the shoulder blades moving, and then out to the side. So a smaller range of motion than your body naturally wants to go. We're trying to break habits, break patterns here on your movement adventure. One more. Good. Overhead. You could do a single arm overhead. Now your shoulder blade's going to move. Now with more weight, there'll be more chance that your back will arch. You could alternate arms to start. Or you could do both, as long as you feel you can seriously pay attention. And as I move here, going overhead, but I'm not reaching my hands away from me. I'm still trying to stay really heavy in the shoulder joint. So for me, it's like I'm sucking my upper arms into my shoulder joint, even though they're going overhead. Right, my thoracic outlet syndrome always, gives me something to think about as I'm moving here. Let's do the last 2. And last one, exhale, reaching over any amount. And inhale to lift up. All right, place your weights off to the side. Come up to a quadruped position. You're on your hands and your knees. You could be on fists if that feels more supportive for your wrists, right? You want your hands underneath your shoulders, your back nice and long. You could also be up on something on forearms. Find what works for you. The other option for wrists is heels of the hand a little higher than the knuckles to bring more weight into the fingers and the knuckles. When you are ready, we're going to work on staying stable and still in the shoulder and in the elbows in this position. So this looks like keeping a little bit of softness in the elbow joint, keeping the shoulder nice and still. And the goal here is to just float the right hand off the mat a little bit without letting anything change in the left. And then you're going to switch. The right elbow is going to stay slightly soft. You're going to feel connected in your shoulder on the right, and then float the left hand off. Keep going from side to side. We'll do a couple more. You might feel a little work happening in the core here because you want the spine to stay still. That's going to help with the stability in the shoulder, right? So if you're shifting a lot from side to side, then the shoulders are going to be moving. Back of the neck is long. And I'll turn to the side here. So you're lifting your paw off the mat and then lowering it down and lifting the other one off the mat, lowering it down. So you could do this in fists, as I said. Soft elbows, shoulders are going to stay still. Lift off. So it's the arm that gets the weight that you're gonna focus on as you go from side to side. So you're gonna focus on keeping that soft elbow and keeping the rib cage from dropping down towards the floor or even lifting up. Good. All right, so that was in our flat back position. Now I'd like to round the back up towards the ceiling, particularly that upper back. And we're going to do the same thing. So your chin will drop a little bit, and then you're going to float one hand off the mat, keeping the elbow bent and keeping the shoulders still. And then same thing on the other side. Just a little lift to challenge that opposite arm. One more on each side. Check out if you've lost your breath or if you've got distracted. Exhale. Good. And then you're going to sit back, give the wrist a shake or a little whatever feels good to get them back together. And we're going to come to a seated position next to a wall. We're going to use our weights again and the band again. We were using the floor as our feedback for our shoulder stability. We're going to use the wall. So we're creating a different relationship with gravity. If you have a tendency to kind of curl back and sink back in your spine, we're going to work on keeping it tall. And if you have that tendency, it's always nice to sit up on something, right? So if you sit on a little pillow or a little block, legs can be whatever position feels good. You're going to get right on top of your sitting bones. That's going to help you stay a little bit higher. If you tend to sink back, then there might be some tightness around the hips or the back. Okay, so you'll come sitting against the wall. You could sit on a little stool against the wall too, right? You don't have to be super close to the floor. Whatever is a comfortable position for your legs, find that. Have your weights handy and your band handy. All right, from here, make sure you can get your back against the wall and then just roll your shoulders around. Feel your shoulder blades move. So as your upper arms, your shoulders lift, feel some movement happening on your back, the blades against the wall. Good. And then you're going to allow your back and your shoulder blades to just softly touch the wall. So it might feel a little open across the chest, a little more open than usual. That's fine. Pick up your band, keeping your shoulder blades against the wall. Hold the band in front of you. You could hold it lower if it's going up into your neck. So the back of your head could be against the wall or it could be a little bit off. Whatever's comfortable for your neck here. As long as your shoulder blades can come onto the wall, then you're in a good place. All right, holding your band. Now notice here, as you move your hands forward and move them together, that the shoulder blades come off the wall. Separate your hands about as wide as your mat, or at least wider than your shoulders, to help get the shoulder blades on the wall. Good. And it doesn't have to be the whole thing flat against the wall. You just want a little bit touching the wall so that you can feel if the shoulder blades move. Gently pull the band apart just a little bit and then bring it back. You're going to pull the band apart, keeping the shoulder blades still. Elbows are going to be a little bit soft. Wrists are going to stay long. And we're just going to do one more here. Good. Keeping the shoulder blades where they are. You're going to lower your hands towards the floor, towards your knees, and then lift. Just up in line with the shoulders. Remember, if the arms go above the shoulder blades move. We're working on our shoulder blade stability. Notice what's happening in your neck. Take a break. Adjust your position if it doesn't feel comfortable for your neck. So we were doing this exercise before on our back. Feel how different it is in seated, right? Way more work to hold the arms and a resistance band up. So that is how our body reacts to gravity in this change. All right, arms are going to go up a little bit and then down a little bit. Again, if you're like, whoo, shoulders, neck, take a break, pause, and then come back. Let your shoulder blades settle. You don't have to squeeze them in. Let them settle to the wall. Arms be as wide as you need. And again, we're going to lift up and down. Good. So as they go down, the shoulder blades stay still. As your hands start to go above, you're going to feel the shoulder blades move. You might just have the inner edge of the shoulder blades on the wall. That's fine. One more, last one. And then place the band off to the side. Pause for a moment, take a little break, see how things feel. Whew. All right, then you're going to pick up your weights. Once you have your weights in your hand and you've readjusted your position, if you start with the elbows by the side, a little bit wider than your rib cage, check in with your shoulder blades. You want to feel your shoulders, your upper spine gently against the wall. And then as you exhale, reach your arms out any amount. Inhale, bring it back. Remember, you don't need to use the weights. You could do one hand at a time, one arm at a time. That's a great starting place. As you get more confident and you feel stronger, you're going to try and fully straighten the arms without locking the elbows, and then come back. All right, exhale and inhale, really checking in with the neck and shoulders, pausing, adjusting as you need. Good. Pause here. You're going to open the arms out to the side, and this time reach the arms out and then bring them back in. So same idea with the shoulder blades. Notice if the shoulders want to curl in. Ooh, my shoulders might have curled in. And then you're going to reach out to the side and come back. Good. 3 more. And 2. Keep your hands in front of the line of your body. Keep your shoulder blades in a good position. And in that small range of motion, just usually for hypermobile, the body just wants to go out and lock everything. But we're going to make it work. And then bring the hands in, lower the weights down. Bring your hands onto your knees. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. And breathe in and out through the nose. Keeping your back against the wall. As you inhale, can you fill the back of your body with your breath so that you feel the back of your rib cage gently kiss the wall? Exhale, soften, let that pressure release a little bit from the wall. Inhale. Fill that space between the shoulder blades, that hard-working space, and then exhale, soften. Three more breaths. Inhale into that space between the shoulder blades. Exhale. Soften. Inhale and exhale. One more breath. Long exhale. And then you can quietly open your eyes if you've closed them. We're going to give the shoulders a break and come down to a side lying position. For side lying, it is nice to use the back edge of your mat as your ruler. What you're looking for here is the back of your head, your upper back, and your tailbone all align with that back edge of your mat. And then let's align the heels with the back edge of the mat too. So knees are stacked. Hips are stacked, one on top of the other. Shoulders are stacked. You could have a pillow for your head, or you could support your head with your bottom arm. Choose your own adventure. You could let your head rest on the floor too, whatever feels good for your neck here. You're going to place that top hand on the hip. We're going to work with the waist and the breath. As you inhale, allow the bottom side of your waist to get light and this top hip to reach a little bit away towards your heels. And then as you exhale, get heavy in that bottom waist. Let your hip get heavy in towards your waist. And then inhale, a little stretch away, a little lift and float. And then exhale, the hip comes back. Two more like that. You could have your hand on your hip to feel the sensation of the movement and to facilitate it. Exhale, get heavy as you come into the floor. Inhale, let the hip go away. And then last one, exhale, let it sink. With the hip reaching away from you, soft shoulders, gazing forward, inhale to float that top leg up and off, and then exhale to lower down. Let's do 4 more like that. Hips are going to stay super still. Energy through the hip, reaching away, and a little lift from the bottom here. You're stabilizing through the hips as you lift and lower that top leg. Check in with your neck. Adjust as you need. And then after your last one, bring the leg down. Good. Let's try the other side. Lining yourself up, back of the head, upper back, tailbone, and the back of the edge of the mat, and your heels. Adjust as you need, but you're looking to get somewhat in that position. And then as you inhale, allow your hip to lengthen towards your heels, which might lift the tissues in your lower waist. And then exhale, get heavy. Notice what's happening in the neck. Let it be supported somewhere. Inhale and exhale. And a couple more. Inhaling, moving the hip with the breath. Maybe letting your hand do a little push if that feels comfortable, just to encourage the hip to move. Inhale and exhale. And then next time your hip is floating, your lower waist is a little engaged, you're going to inhale to float that top leg up and exhale, lower it down. Keeping that lift in the bottom waist. Inhale, float the leg up. Exhale, lower it down without everything coming down to the floor. You're maintaining some nice stability around your center, up to the rib cage. Small movement, but that just allows you to bring more focus, more deliberate focus on your midsection. And then one more, or finish off your set and lower the leg down. Roll over onto your back. Find your pillow if you need it. Have your feet flat on the floor. And let's do a couple of bridges here. So hands are going to be wide. As you exhale, get heavy into your heels, heavy into your upper back and your shoulders. Begin to tuck your bottom under, lift your tailbone off the mat, your lower back, your mid back, your upper back. With control, take an inhale And then exhale to roll back down with control. If that doesn't work for you, you could do a flat back bridge. We'll do that next. Feet are parallel. You could have a little block in between your knees if you want a little extra for your pelvic floor and those inner thigh muscles. And then you're going to keep your hip bones and your rib cage all in one line. I like to use my fingers here for this. As you exhale, and push into your heels, lift the hips and those lower ribs up in one line, and then come on down. So you're working full spinal stability as you lift and lower. Again, exhale, push into the heels, maybe pulling the heels a little bit back towards your bottom to feel the hamstrings and the bottom muscles turn on, and then come all the way back down. We'll do one more, whatever bridge feels good for you. When you get up to the top, you're going to feel heavy between the shoulder blades, shoulder soft, throat open, and then hips come right back down. And then take out whatever's between your knees. Walk your feet a little bit apart and do a little knee sway from side to side. Get a little twist through the center. And then come back to a comfortable position. Hands can be on your belly, your lower ribs. Close your eyes or soften your gaze and check in again with your body. Breathe in and out through the nose and start at your feet. Work up the legs, noticing what sensations you feel. And if anything's changed since the beginning of class. And if you don't remember how you felt at the beginning of class, no problem. Happens. Working up to the hips, the torso, the arms. And what sensations do you feel in the neck and the head? How do you feel? How does your body feel after these movements? And then you can quietly open your eyes. We're finished class for today. Thank you for joining me.